thank you so much, Coach, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with us. Would be good if you can give us a quick background as to, which school you're from and also how did you get into coaching?
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to share a conversation with you a little bit about recruiting. Well, I played both college golf and college soccer at Occidental College, a Division III school in Los Angeles. And after my time at Oxy, I knew I was going to be turning pro in golf. Ended up playing for 3 years after, but also right after I graduated, I had the opportunity to actually take over as a head coach for the golf program I played for. So for me, it was really a perfect balance and a perfect marriage between my life as a playing professional as well as giving me an opportunity to get into the working world and really have a chance to experience coaching for the first time. And from there, I kind of fell in love with it, helped to rebuild those programs, had good success recruiting and also establishing both the men's and women's programs there. And then after 3 seasons as the head coach, came over and joined UCLA as the assistant men's golf coach.
It's amazing. It's a great to be working for UCLA. It's an amazing, fantastic program.
It's pretty special.
Yeah. So what's a day in the life of a UCLA men's golfer?
So our players definitely have a busy schedule, and it's something we try to help them balance on a day-to-day basis. But every day, for the most part, they're going to have class as well as, for us on the golf team, at least one fitness activity and then golf practice. So we're either going to have a morning yoga session, and then we'll go to class, and we'll have afternoon practice, or we'll do morning practice, they'll have class in the afternoon, and then they'll have weights with our strength coach in the early evening. But it's definitely a busy day. It's something they need to have very, thought out plan as far as time management goes. Mm-hmm. And it's something that we work at with a coaching staff with our players, but as well as with their academic mentors and everyone else that can help them build a schedule that'll help them succeed.
Nice. It's great. I think a lot of the members of the UCLA team have gone on to be really successful PGA Tour pros because of the skills that they've learned in college.
Definitely. We have a chance on a day-to-day basis to play some of the best golf courses in the world. I think that helps our players know what they're going to face, as well as obviously play some of the best tournaments. And then really I think the 2 biggest factors is, we help train them on what life is like in the real world. Life to understand that you have more demands simply than playing golf when you get on the PGA Tour. You're going to have a weight training schedule. You're going to have to deal with media, with sponsors and all of that. And we help them learn how to balance all of those activities, as well as we're lucky, like many other programs, that they have a chance on a day-to-day basis to compete against some of the other best amateurs in the world. And for our guys, if they're going to make a starting lineup here, then certainly they're probably going to have a chance to go play at the next level.
Perfect. So UCLA, it's a great program, and college golf is a great stepping stone to professional golf, or even just to enjoy that balance of top golf and top academics. So the struggle with, I think, most athletes is knowing how to proceed through this recruitment process in the right way. Mm-hmm. And it would be good if you could give us some advice as to when do you think is the right time to approach a college golf coach?
I really don't think you can get started too early. I know, right now, sort of one of the big things that I think both junior golfers as well as coaches are fighting are early commitments. There's certainly a difference between committing early and starting the conversation with coaches early. Mm-hmm. I think it's really good to, at least start sending resumes. A lot of really good players will start receiving questionnaires as early as 7th, 8th, 9th grade. But it can't hurt once you get into 7th, 8th, 9th grade to at least make a coach aware who you are. I think that's really the best thing. At the end of the day, when I'm looking through, 10 junior golf tournaments a week, if someone's name catches my eye and I don't know why, it's most likely because I got an email from them. At least I've seen their name before and there's some kind of context there. So it can't hurt to start emailing coaches, at least let them know you're interested in their program early, whether it's 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, and then continue to follow up with them occasionally. Don't get too down if you don't hear from them, obviously, because we can't directly contact you back until your junior year. So there's nothing wrong with not getting anything back and still emailing coach.
Definitely. So, yeah, Definitely, I think a lot of athletes get a bit disheartened when they don't get a very long response from a coach just because of NCAA rules that you can only start communicating with them after grade 11, September 1. So actually, when that timeline passes, how often do you communicate with a recruit via email or phone calls?
It really depends. Guys that are verbally committed to us, we may talk to after every tournament. Guys that, we may have interest in, we might talk to once a week, once a month. It really depends. It differs with every kid. I think during the recruitment process, each individual wants to have a different level of communication, and that's sort of our job as coaches to understand what that balance is. And for some kids, they may just want to be left alone, and that might not be because they don't like your school or your program, but they just might not be a chatty Cathy. And there are other kids that if you give them the chance would probably text with you or call you daily. And it's something that we really have to find that balance. I think it's good for kids that are interested in a program. Once you get to an age where you can get a call back, definitely, every time you might see a coach out watching you, call them and thank them for coming to the tournament. Talk to them about that tournament round. After you might play, 2 or 3 tournaments a month, call them. Even if they miss you, they'll probably get back to you since they can't call you back. So it's good, certainly, after, benchmarks like that, when you're playing rounds, you see the coach, it's really good to reach out and talk to them.
Definitely. And UCLA being a great program, obviously there's a lot of international interest from golfers in Europe and especially in Asia because you're a huge brand name school. So, how reliable do you find the information on, the resumes of Asian golfers when they send them to you?
It's something, we definitely have to delve into pretty well. I mean, the one factor is obviously, there are resources like the WAGR and the World Amateur Golf Ranking and some of the major, like the Asia Pacific and some of the big tournaments down there that we can get a really good grasp on where a player stands. I think the biggest struggle we may have as coaches across the U.S. and looking at international players is putting true context behind what those scores and results mean. And obviously, when they're in the United States, if it's an AJGA event with a bunch of good players, then we know, a 5th place finish there is very strong as opposed to, individual tournaments in, Thailand that might have 100 players. Well, it's 72, 71 may be great in a first, or it might be average in a 40th. And it's hard for us to really go through that. So we definitely need to delve deep into it. I think any chance a foreign player can have, whether it be once a year or every summer to get out to the U.S. or to play in one of those major tournaments like the qualifier for the USA on the Asian Pacific Am, anything like that, it's really good because it gives us more context to truly understand those results.
Definitely, yeah. That's one of the struggles is how to determine the legitimacy of a tournament and how good those scores actually are versus a college-style golf course.
Exactly.
So I know you guys tend to confirm your roster pretty early in the recruitment process. As a UCLA coach, when do you typically give out verbal commitments?
It's really different for everyone. I mean, for example, over the last few years, we've taken kids as early as freshman year and as late as second semester senior year. For us, and I think what's important for the prospect and the kids on the other side is don't make any decisions until you're 100% comfortable with that. So for us, we're really thorough in our evaluation of both players, their families, their characters, everything in between, as I think coaches around the country are as well. Until you know everything about that kid, about how they're going to end up being, 1, 2, 3, 4 years later, about what they want to do in the game, how their family interacts, how they treat their family. Those are all big factors. So for us, it could be, we've known a really young kid for 2 years and we have no doubts we want to pull the trigger. It could be, we may wait till their senior year. And I think it's important from the young golfers aspect, the same thing. Don't get scared into a commitment. If you see 2 other players commit in your class, that doesn't mean you have to follow them and commit. you should ultimately commit when you know that that's the place I want to be no matter what. The best equivalent I always kind of give it, and it really resonates with parents more than with coaches, is ultimately, when, as a man, when you find your wife, or a woman, when you find your husband, you kind of just, that's the match, that's the person you want to be with. Same thing for a golf program. And you can't be forced into that. You can't be rushed into that. It's got to kind of come naturally. And for some people, that'll be really early, and some people that'll be really late. The most important thing is you do it on your schedule when you're ready.
Yeah, and I think it definitely helps if the recruit does go to the campus and actually meets with you, with the coaches, and has a tour of the facilities to really get an idea of, do they like the feel of this college?
Without a doubt, it's something I would encourage them. I mean, even kids that we know we really, really want, we encourage them to go visit other places because we want them to have a different feel and to understand what else is out there, because a Southern California campus is going to be very different from a Southern campus, and a Southern campus is going to be different from a Northeast campus. And it's something that they need to understand too, because ultimately I think one of the most telling things is the feel that you'll get on that campus, the feel you'll get with a coaching staff. And without doing that in person and making those visits, I think it's hard. And I know certainly it's difficult for players from different countries, and of course players from Asia, but it's something that you can work it into a summer schedule and find some time. I'm sure coaches will be willing to find the time as well.
Definitely. So I think now I'm just going on to my last question, which is probably the burning question of every recruit that's looking at UCLA, and you're smiling, so I think you know what's coming, is what does it take to get a scholarship on a UCLA men's golf team?
I think to get a scholarship for any major golf program, first and foremost, you got to play great golf. It's good, to win either events, be the best player either in your region, in your country. If it's a smaller country in the U.S., it could be best player in California, best player in your state. Start locally, but dominate. Know you can win. It's great for us to see someone that can win. Of course, play great scores and be consistent, but then certainly be a really strong student. I think the most important thing behind that is the better GPA you have, the more comfortable we are as coaches across the country that you're going to be able to succeed academically in college. But more importantly, I think it really opens up great opportunities for the prospective student athlete to pursue multiple programs, because you're not limited by where you can get admitted. It opens up the opportunity to possibly get academic aid in addition to golf aid, and there's a lot of things that come with it that have great grades. So I think it's important to be really well-rounded, do well in the classroom, and then, of course, at the end of the day, you got to go out and play some great golf.
Definitely. So in terms of scores for recruits, what do you usually look to in order to filter the amount of emails that you get?
We really don't, look specifically through scores. There's no ranking criteria or score criteria, we follow, and I think that's probably the way for most coaches throughout the country. For us, the biggest thing is, we want to see a player that's consistently improving. That's definitely important. Mm-hmm. And then also, I think one of the best things that any prospective student athlete that wants to play college golf can do is go visit the roster of the programs they're interested in and see the scoring average of the guys somewhere between, the 3, 4, 5 spot on that team. Because our job as a coaching staff ultimately is to replace those guys with better talent. Mm-hmm. So if you're not able to shoot those scores of those guys in the 3, 4, 5 spots, that program is probably slightly out of reach for you. Okay. And I think it's also important to filter that information a little bit, because college golf is certainly set up significantly harder than junior golf. Mm-hmm. So if our number 3 guy is averaging 73.1, mm-hmm. you probably need to be at least a full shot better than that to be able to keep up with him in junior golf. So then you need to average about 72.1.
Super useful information. And also on the GPA and SAT, ACT, what does UCLA look out for?
For us, we use the NCAA sliding scale through the NCAA clearinghouse. So that's something that, your GPA is definitely going to have a direct correlation with the test score you need ultimately. But at the end of the day, I would encourage all student athletes to do the best they can. The better they do test score-wise and GPA-wise, the more opportunities they're going to have both to get admitted and certainly possibly to find more money. So the better you can do, the easier it is for everybody.
Definitely. I think as a coach, you probably want a better student anyway. If you're evaluating golfers that are on the same level, a better student will be able to manage their time better. And yeah.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Coach Larkin, and we really appreciate all the valuable advice you've given us. And I'm sure our viewers watching this video later on will definitely agree that you bring up some really good points to remember in the recruiting process. So thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.
Thank you for having me, and good luck to everybody in all your events coming up in 2017.